when you realize there's nothing you have to do, because you as a soul already have it all clear. You already have clarity. It's the personality, which you're all wonderful, but the personality overlay onto the soul's energy, which has given you the opportunity to learn all these marvelous things you've learned. You are revamping your relationship between your soul and your personality, because you've already done the personality running the show forever, lifetimes. This lifetime you're ready for a collaborative experience. And that collaborative experience is realized when you say, oh, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. There is this moment, there is this being, there is this being ready. What has happened is the personality, through habit, through fear, through core emotion, through biological urges, which of course are all part of the game. We're not saying any of those are bad or wrong. They were all necessary for you to get to this point, but now we're trying something new, remember? The personality has held on to all these things so intensely that it hasn't allowed any other way of living to be possible. And so that's what we mean by getting ready, is you've said, okay, I have a new relationship to fear. I have a new relationship to my biology. I have a new relationship to my core emotion. I have a new relationship to being the personality self. And that new relationship allows the soul's energy to more fully come into your body and allows you to start to see this world as a playground again instead of as a school. It's been Earth school, and you've been learning. And you know what you learned? You learned that there's nothing here but you being. And you've learned to open up to the idea that a new way of being is within your birthright. So it's time to get out of the classroom and get out onto the playground and see what timelessness is like. Because, you know, timelessness comes when you're not thinking, right? Mm-hmm. Timelessness comes when you're being. And that's where you are. Now, many of you have talked a lot about how time has felt really strange. And for a lot of you, time's going fast. And we had said time is going to slow down. And there was a little bit like, why do you think it's going slow? And we know it's going fast. When you start to embody your soul's energy, one of the dynamics that's operating is that the personality that's still present wants that over with because it's scary. So the perception of time gets speeded up because you're trying to get it over with. Let's get this done and get back to the way it's used to be. All right? So now you're ready, when you're in the moment and you're experiencing your soul's energy, for time to stretch. Part of the thing you have to do in order for time to stretch is be comfortable with where you are and who you are. Where you are and who you are. Where you are, of course, is, you know, who lives in your house, what your house looks like, what your job, if you have a job, what it's like for you in your physical surroundings. And who you are is this thing we talked about, being or doing. Are you comfortable in your own skin? Are you comfortable in your own company? Because if all of a sudden time stretches, there's going to be a lot more time that you're going to need to be comfortable in your own company. But it's not like you'll be alone because you're going to be with your soul. So there's going to be this very interesting dynamic of feeling partnered in a new way. Not sexually, not financially, but energetically. Partnered. You, the personality, and your soul being together in a timeless fashion in a new way. Because you're ready. Simply because now is now, and you've come to this moment with this earnestness and this strong desire to try something that hasn't been tried. None of you would be on this planet at this time if you weren't interested in being the first to try stuff. Now maybe in your personality self, you're not that much of a cutting edge person. Most of you probably are. But maybe not everybody who will hear this is such a cutting edge person or doesn't view themselves as a cutting edge person. But the reality is you wouldn't be on earth right now if you weren't someone who likes to push the envelope. So when you get the opportunity to push the envelope in this way, on a soul level, it's like about damn time. On a personality level, if you haven't done that work about fear and your core emotion, etc., the biology that we've talked about, then that can all come up as block. And that's why we've talked for so many months about fear, about habit, about core emotion, about rewriting the biology, about looking at your relationships, about being in integrity with yourself, about not over-giving to others but staying in balance within yourself. You know, the wax and the flame thing. All of these things we've talked about have been to bring you to the moment where you have the tools to operate from a perspective that says, I can be me in this moment without distraction, disruption. That's really what we've come to, is this moment I can be me. And you'll start to see that you are far more than you ever imagined. And you've been told over and over again, you're an infinite, immortal, fabulous, magnificent soul. You are a part of God. You've been involved in so many fabulous things. You've heard it from many different teachers, and the bottom line is you're going to start feeling it. And not as an ego that says, I'm hot shit, but as a being that says, my word, look what I have tapped into. This is your life now. From today on, you're ready and the energetics have assembled, and you can just take off the costume you've been wearing so that the truth of you can start to be revealed. And the costume, what is it? Fear, habit, core emotion, biology, right? That's the costume. The truth of who you are is your soul's expression in the physical form. That's who you are now. And you have the opportunity to walk in this world in that way. Not because you're going to have to do, but because you are. The act of being is your natural state. The overlay of doing is a habit, is a protection, and is an old energetic. So you can still accomplish, you can still create, you can still finish, you can still move in the world and have things change, which maybe in the past you called doing, but you can experience that as a more whole being. And instead of, I've got to get this done, it's, I'm ready to interact with this in order for both of us to transform. It's not, I'm going to impose my will on that or you in order for this to become something I feel safer with. It's, I'm going to interact with you and transform both of us in the process. That's the new paradigm of doing. So the dishes are dirty and you want them to be clean. Let them transform you as you transform them. And yes, we mean it down to that level. Because you are transforming the dishes. And you can be transformed in that process. If you're not running simple habit around the journey that you're experiencing. And if a small thing like the dishes can have that effect, imagine what relationships with living beings could elicit from you.